Your birthday is approaching. Someone casually asks, "So, what's the plan for your big day?" And you give the one answer that seems to throw everyone off balance. Nothing. It's just another day. Suddenly, you're the odd one out. Friends wonder if you're okay. Family accuses you of being stubborn or ungrateful. Society behaves as though skipping candles, cake, and a perfectly filtered smile means something inside you is malfunctioning. But what if the opposite is true? What if you're not broken? What if you're actually operating on a level most people haven't reached yet? Psychologists have looked into this exact mindset, and the evidence points to something powerful. The judgment you're getting says far more about everyone else's assumptions than it does about you. This one's for you, whether you're carrying quiet maturity, past lessons, or a deeper kind of peace. Stay with me. Let's begin with the group society rarely acknowledges. These are the people who stopped celebrating birthdays not out of deliberate choice, but because repeated letdowns taught their nervous system it was safer not to expect anything. In 1967, Martin Seligman identified learned helplessness. When outcomes stay consistently out of your control despite effort, the brain eventually stops anticipating reward. It's not weakness. It's adaptive efficiency. Birthdays function like a perfect prediction error generator. Neuroscience, from researchers like Wolfram Schultz, and Reed Montague, shows that dopamine isn't triggered simply by getting something good. It spikes or crashes based on the difference between expectation and reality. Picture being a kid. You build anticipation for weeks, the friends remembering, the surprise, the feeling of being center stage. Year after year, the reality falls short. Not dramatically, just quietly. No one shows up the way you hoped. The excitement doesn't match the buildup. Over time, your brain recalibrates. It lowers the predicted reward, reduces the dopamine anticipation, and eventually stops investing emotional energy in the date altogether. Not because you stopped hoping for joy, but because hoping became more painful than neutrality. So when someone says, "It's just another day," pay attention. That calm statement isn't apathy, it's scar tissue turned into strategy. The composure you see isn't cold, it's protective armor forged from years of recalibration. But that's only one path. There's a second group who look entirely different on the surface. They don't dread their birthday, they genuinely lose track of it. Their mind is juggling too many open loops, work deep dives, creative obsessions, long-term goals, endless mental tabs. Psychologists call this time blindness, often linked to ADHD traits or high conscientiousness under pressure, and it's far more widespread than most realize. When your attention is fully absorbed elsewhere, dates become abstract. Weeks collapse into each other. Your calendar feels less like structure and more like a suggestion box you keep meaning to check. These people aren't suppressing joy or avoiding self-care. Their brain simply tags birthday as non-urgent, right alongside the dental checkup they've postponed 6 times and the inbox zero dream that lives in theory only. It's not neglect of self, it's prioritization of everything else that feels alive in the moment. Does that ring true for anyone? Then comes the third group, the ones who see the date clearly, remember it perfectly, and still choose no thanks. Not from pain, not from distraction, not to make a statement. They simply evaluated the ritual and decided, "I'm already good." If this sounds like you, psychology offers a strong explanation. Decades of research by Richard Ryan and Edward Deci on self-determination theory shows that the healthiest psychological functioning occurs when motivation and well-being are intrinsically driven, rooted in autonomy, competence, and genuine relatedness, rather than external markers or social scripts. For these individuals, joy isn't something that arrives on a calendar cue or requires a chorus of happy birthday sung off-key in a crowded restaurant. They've internalized the sense of worth that others chase through celebration. They stepped off what Philip Brickman and others termed the hedonic treadmill, the endless pursuit of the next external high, next party, next milestone, next validation hit that never quite delivers lasting satisfaction. They're not missing out. They've simply outsourced less of their happiness. While most wait for one designated day to feel briefly special, these people have learned to carry a baseline sense of wholeness into ordinary Tuesdays, quiet evenings, random afternoons. That internal anchoring unsettles others precisely because it challenges the shared cultural belief that everyone needs the same rituals to feel valued, that cake and attention are universal requirements. When you don't crave the fuss, it quietly disrupts the script everyone else is following. Of course, not every low-key birthday comes from a place of strength. Some people opt out from fear, not freedom. Jennifer Crocker's work on contingencies of self-worth shows that certain individuals detach from celebrations because the risk feels too high. If they allow themselves to hope, plan, or want, and it falls short again, it might confirm old, painful beliefs about their own worth. So they preempt disappointment by refusing to engage. That's protection, not liberation. The line between the two is thin, and only you can feel which side you're standing on. If you're reflecting on this right now, that self-honesty already says something important. And maybe that's the deeper truth we've overlooked. We've been taught that love and care must look loud, public, ritualized, that if you don't orchestrate fanfare for your existence, something must be missing. But what if the most authentic form of self-regard isn't throwing a party, it's realizing you don't require one to feel whole? Picture the 8-year-old version of someone who now shrugs at their birthday. They counted down for weeks, told classmates, pictured balloons and laughter. The day arrived, and it was quiet. Maybe no one remembered the way they hoped. Maybe it felt smaller than the dream. They didn't make a scene. They just adjusted quietly, lowered the bar for next year and the year after. Researchers at Johns Hopkins and others have documented the anniversary effect. The brain doesn't just archive painful dates, it reactivates the original emotion each time the calendar loops back. That child is still in there, still quietly monitoring expectations. Yet some people reach a place where the silence no longer hurts, it simply feels sufficient. If your last birthday passed alone and the calm felt right, not empty, you're not defective. You're part of a small, steady group that has learned self-sufficiency without needing permission or applause. So, here it is, in case no one has said it lately. You're allowed to let the day pass unmarked. You're allowed to feel complete without fanfare. You're allowed to redefine what special means on your own terms. If this landed somewhere soft or finally named something you've carried without words, drop a quiet comment if you've ever spent your birthday solo and genuinely felt at peace about it. If you want more content that goes this deep into the psychology of everyday choices, subscribe. The next video might explain even more about how your mind works than this one did. Nothing was ever wrong with you.